Being a freelancer artist is usually widely claimed to be one of the most disrespected or underappreciated jobs there is. Yet, if we stick exclusively to just Pokemon and throw Twitter in as our only platform into the mix, how difficult or bizarre can it get? In today's video, I'll be going undercover as a Pokemon sprite artist for 3 weeks to answer exactly that. Just like I did in the last episode, which you should check out if you haven't, we will have some rules to keep this fair and simple to replicate anyone's experience that has the possibility of starting fresh. Here's the list of rules. Pause if you have to. But besides that, let's finally get into it. Of course, how can I start an undercover challenge if I don't actually go undercover? So, to get this show on the road, I created a fresh new account by the name of RetroNC, which, if you didn't notice, is technically an antonym of my YouTube username, while just switching the NC part around. As for the profile picture and the portfolio side of things, I use mostly unknown or more obscure works from my existing collection and create a small commission and post to get the ball rolling. I also try to make the bio sound not too robotic, while also not obnoxious at the same time. I guess this makes a good spot for dropping some retro lore as well. Nice! After that, I make a commission price info image, where the prices will be pretty low at first, since a fresh account with 0 previous clients could, understandably, seem sketchy at first. Then, if sales later pick up, the price will increase alongside it. Yet, before we finally pass the tutorial, my account gets locked for suspicious activity, so I guess my JoJo kind isn't welcome here. After resolving that small hiccup, I post the commission pic I made before, then also make a dedicated post for the Dio trainer sprite I already had made before. While we wait for any attention, I spend the rest of the day following random relevant accounts. Got to get that engagement somehow. Returning the next day, the results in the sense of engagement in such a small time span is already better than a whole week on Fiverr. Yet, if you don't count the fact that all of the followers definitely have that horny MILFs your area energy. But hey, at least we also got a like on our commission post. Following some more accounts in hopes of the feed algorithm tying us in with that same crowd, I spend the rest of my dedicated time by making 2 extra posts. One, which is just another simple showcase of my work, that also includes tags since we're using anything possible. Then the other hopefully creating a bit of a FOMO effect with the mention that the first one who orders from me will get a big discount. I have no clue if it will work out, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Before my day ends, I modify my bio just a bit to make it feel more authentic, based on what I've seen on other art accounts. Then, after posting, of course, I follow some more accounts. Checking back in a few hours later, I come back to the same result as before. 5 new followers, 0 commissions. To see if I'm not missing anything, I search up some articles and the always trustworthy Reddit for some tips, only to see that Twitter is not recommended for such endeavors in the same place. Though, after coming across an advice post on CircleBoom, I decide why not and try out a few of the suggested options myself, creating yet another dedicated trainer sprite showcase post, then another for Pokemon sprites that I'll post later. I make the text more direct, while also using only 3 to 5 tags like the article suggested. While browsing some accounts in between that I possibly could follow, I come up with the idea to find some art showcase posts and try my hand there with just posting some of my previous stuff again. But of course, that's so suspicious that my account gets locked for that exact reason. Yippee! Yeah, awesome. Never mind. Eventually, jumping over that roadblock, I come to a realization when looking at my account once again. Although the banner is a certified hood classic, I make it a bit more professional, since there's a good chance that someone might misinterpret the refined art piece. Besides that, you know what time it is once again? Yep, some more good old, initially unintentional, follow for follow shenanigans. After a small bit of exactly that, and also checking up my follower count, I decide to take a look at my DM tab, which I'm glad I did. Of course, Twitter has the allow DMs from no one option as the default. Well, at least our success rate increased from an unknown 0% that was before now, returning to not 5, not 6, but 7 whole new notifications. The situation about if we're getting any commissions is still dire. Being motivated by the relevant slacking news, I decided to try out the community feature, which could give that dedicated platform aspect that gives Fiverr an edge when it comes to that. Finding some potential groups, I make 3 new posts for today, of which I post 2 already, recycle some previously made posts for the joint communities, then schedule the 3rd one for later. If we get the same result tomorrow as these past few days, I think, unfortunately, no matter how little I want to say this, it will be montage time. But hey, on the bright side, I got to follow some more accounts and search keywords for possible customers that were looking for people to commission, but nothing special there. Now, before any of you silly goopers decide that commenting something like this video would pop up if you searched up repetitive in a dictionary or anything smart-ass like that, I would say that you'd be right, after calling you out on stealing my comment, that is. So, to solve this issue, I'll continue on by only showing highlights of each day until further notice. As for how that affects today's report, got new 5 notifs again, nothing special, got a bit daring and did not 2 but 3 whole new posts, one being some good old FOMO bait, which I planned out to be uploaded on separate times, then finish off the day with 27 followers and still 0 sales. You know how it goes, return back to new notifications, this time being 10, run through them, see the likes and follows, just the usual stuff. Wait, is that a comment? Did I actually get a DM? Well, to be fair, that deal was pre-fire, I can't even lie. After definitely not immediately taking that post down, since such a steal is criminal, we get down to business with our first customer and receive pointers for the now in progress trainer and Pokemon front sprites. Maybe there's actually a reason for a montage this time? Light it up, who's ever editing? Alright, 1 hour and a half later, the trainer sprite is done, so now it's time to await the feedback. Returning to positive reception, the result allows us to shift gears and begin work on the Superior, which, due to Superior being an existing design already, greatly simplifies and speeds up the process. To give myself a challenge, I make a whole new pose and sprite for Superior, then actually add the one main thing that was requested, known as the red scarf itself. Sending the result and quickly receiving a positive response once again, then using the opportunity to make a post about it on Twitter from me and them as a small ad of sorts, the day ends with us getting our first $10 and a slightly bigger art portfolio. Back to being hit by reality once again, all I return to on the next day is the lowest count of notifs yet and a corn bot sliding into my DMs. Nonetheless, that doesn't mean that the grind is gonna stop, so I make a few new posts and schedule them throughout the next 24 hours. And basing on the fact that I returned to an inquiry about commissions, I would say that it paid off. So while I waited for a response for a possible second gig already, I spent the rest of the time doing the usual filler. Starting to suspect that the potential customer actually may not be legit, I recycle a previous potential tweet into a post, then do some small tidbits until realizing the challenge is halfway over already. As for what happens on day 11, that's a good question, because I wish I knew too. Though, besides feeling more confident about the potential customer not being actually real, making more random posts and following random accounts, the day, well, just kinda happened. Before going down a montage spiral, I decided to try posting the lucrative deal post that introduced me to my first customer in the first place. Will this work out? Will I probably get too hopeful about it? Is it such a criminal steal once again? I don't know if the first two are true, and I don't want to believe that the last one is true either. Well. Either the post didn't work, or the first customer reaching out to me right after making the special offer post was just a coincidence. Anyone want to bet on them both being true? Besides me following back everyone that I have tangled myself in with the ArtMoods hashtag, trying to find any unused or unseen fakemon sprites that haven't been posted to make a tweet out of it, and sharing my stuff on tweets specifically meant for that purpose, I guess the only thing besides continuing the cycle is to just wait. I mean, time heals all wounds, right? Even damaging the pacing of the video wants to, right? Either way, I shared my art some more and scheduled a post 2 hours later to hopefully take advantage of some new eyes on the account when the post goes up. The strategies to this are getting pretty thin, not gonna lie. Returning back and realizing I only know that the profile growth is actually somewhat surprising due to it turning just 2 weeks old on this day, and having stunted movement in the algorithm due to no blue checkmark, I also find out that I have 2 new messages. Well, besides remembering how to report an account thanks to the cornbot, the other DM is from a person who's working on a fan game and is looking for someone to help out with the sprite work. Huh, maybe my previous day's strategy actually worked? Either way, the only thing left now for me to do is play the waiting game once again, and I guess do the usual stuff too. Focusing solely just on reporting another cornbot and replying to the actual potential next client, day 15 ends up easily as the shortest out of the bunch due to me just waiting for directions on the sprites and some feed browsing in the meantime. And I guess this is also the first day where I didn't make a single post, besides replies and retweets, so there's at least something special for today. While still waiting for a response, I get another DM that's neither a customer nor a bot, just someone begging for me to help grow their Instagram account. Cool! I guess that calls for more random posting and other repeating task activities to call it a day. Well, if the commission experience doesn't satisfy you, you at least can get to see sprites I've made, which even the likes of my Twitter, shameless plug, page hasn't seen. To diversify my strategies even more, while at least possibly having my plan B that I came up with randomly along the way of trying to get as big of a following as possible, I tried a new method of hosting an art raffle in which the winner would get a free sprite of choosing. Either way, if the result works out or not, it's worth at least a shot. After waiting until the end of the art raffle, the reception turned out smaller, yet still bigger than the usual on the account's posts. Choosing the winner with a complicated system that picked out the best of the best, I DM them and wait until getting a reply. Getting a response on the following day, besides some other random DMs, the requested sprite turns out to be a proposal of me picking between a Raichu-based Fakemon or a trainer sprite, only for them to ask that I do the trainer as their pick anyways. After getting prepped for beginning work on the sprite, I returned to it on the next day due to being quite busy on the previous day and begin creating the trainer. Following and executing the usual route of methods I use to create a sprite, after an hour of work, the requested artwork is made and delivered to be reviewed tomorrow. Upon returning, the first thing I spot is a post by the user I made a sprite for, so a positive reception in the DMs ends up not being a surprise after all. Even though on our final day we don't receive any more commission requests, I decide to dedicate the rest of the day to at least obtaining the 100 follower goal. After some final posts, checking out the ArtMood hashtag, and sharing my already made art posts to relevant tweets, the goal gets eventually met with a 101 follower total at the very end. But now that the 3-week challenge is over, how did it go? With the experiment now finally being over, how did it go compared to my Fiverr experience? And what's my takeaway? Even though on Twitter I definitely reached more people, Fiverr had a much better conversion rate from views to gigs, since that platform is solely dedicated to buying and selling things. Yet Twitter is more versatile and less dedicated to such activities like commissioning art. As for the amount of pay I gained, Fiverr beat Twitter by $40, though I got lucky with a dedicated customer that commissioned me for 4 sprites, while also on Twitter there are no fees or cuts to the pay. Now, there's also the fact that people who don't subscribe for the blue checkmark get recommended less. So if I had that, results may have been better. But even if that was guaranteed, I still wouldn't buy it in a million years. Overall, taking into mind that I gave Fiverr a 6 out of 10, the bigger freedom, more variety in how to tackle advertising and pricing your commissions, while also being able to build a following that would allow more usual commissions in the future, are definitely bigger positives than what Fiverr offers. Yet, on the other hand, getting crippled by not buying the blue checkmark and existing in a more saturated market where people for the most part are more interested in looking at art instead of buying it, in result, breaking down the rating to a 7 out of 10. Now, that may seem a bit high, but the simple fact of there being no cuts to your payment or tips like on Fiverr instantly made Twitter a 5 out of 10 as a minimum. Of course, there's a higher chance of getting scammed on Twitter due to there being no middleman or protection for transactions, but I have to give at least some leeway to the platform for people's expected stupidness points. But yeah, that does it for our little experiment. If you enjoyed this and want to see more tests like this, you know what to do. Massive thanks to our dear patrons for making videos like this possible. Check out my Twitter to not miss out on bangers like this, and stay tuned for more.